So the oil should be finishing up already. Simin Taf Lamed Zayin. Ikar is obviously Sif Aleph. The Hemshech is important, not as important as Sif Aleph. Anyone gets a chance to see Simin Taf Lamed Hey. It's just one Sif. That's a question of doing Bedika on Pesach Alein. If you didn't do it before Pesach, that you're Mechuyev even on Pesach. Maisa, next week we're starting Simin Taf Lamed Dalid. That goes with Simin Taf Mem Hey, which is Dine Beer and Bedika. Bittel and Beer. So Taf Lamed Dalid is Gidrei Bittel. What is Bittel? All the different sheets in the Shem Bittel, and then Taf Mem Hey is the sugya of Beer Chametz, of Sreifus Chametz and Beer Chametz Mamash. We'll start that next week. Avanim Taf Lamed Zayin is the din of Seicher Masker. The MS Hemshech of what we started discussing last week with Gabe Yotzi Bishara and Oitzer Beisa Oitzer. And the Seder Dvarim is all the Chilukei Dinim of someone who is leaving his house, is not going to be in his house on Pesach, and he leaves his house sometime before Pesach. Koydem Lamed, on Lamed. Seicher Masker adds another chiluk to that shaila on who is mutal the Chiyuv Bedika. Specifically, we'll speak about two shailos that are not mefurish mamish in the poskim, later poskim mefurish, that yesh lestapik in their chiyuv bedika based on these sugyas. So one is that the entire sugya of yotzei mibeisoi, someone who's stam going away for Pesach, is all about toich lamed. So if he leaves toich lamed, it's already chal v'chiyuv. Before lamed is not chal v'chiyuv bedika. So we see a chiluk between before lamed and on lamed. Is there an afkamina between Yotzei Mibeisoi already on Yodad itself? Is there a makom a person can be in his bias or in a bias, even on Orlar Basar, and still be pater? Kapi Madvar Mamurim. If someone is not going for Pesach, he's not going until Erev Pesach Mamish, until Yodad by morning, and the night before, let's say he's by base guy. Let's talk about what's morning is a hotel. Someone's in a hotel the night before, and he's leaving the next day to go for Pesach to his mishpacha, wherever he is. Is there a chiyuv? He's there just for that night. That's totally in the din of Yotzei Mibeis Guy. Is there a tzad echad? Doesn't make any sense, but as we'll see, that's the low plug of the sugya. Tzad sheni, he's there Orlar Basar. Is there makom to pattern from Bedika? And al derech zu, the question which is also very negeya in these neighborhoods, someone who leaves before Pesach toich lamed, a week or 2 or 3 before Pesach, and the Lamaisa, so he's be'etzem a Yotzi B'Sharas, he's Chayiv Livdei. The Eitzah we discussed last week, people are Samichan, they just make a mechir on the whole house. Let's say he's renting out his house, it's a Seicher Masker Shayla. But Ba'ofen, that the Seicher is only coming in, or if the Seicher takes it before Yudal, it takes it on Yud Gimel, so it's his. As long as he moves in with his stuff, so he'll do the Bedika, or Olar Basar. What happens if Ba'ofen that the master left, he already made the deal with the Seicher, but the Seicher is only moving in on Erev Yontif Mamish, on Yudal. He's arriving from America, let's say, on Erev Pesach, on Yudal in the morning. So whose chiyuv is it to be mistader a bedika the night before, or maybe no one, maybe just the Seicher, as he moves in, will be chayiv. So this and similar shilos are all totally basically in the three dinim we find in Shulchan Aruch. It's 2 Gemaras and one chiddush from the Rishonim. One is the din in Taf Lamed Vav, 2 are really from Taf Lamed Vav, 1 Taf Lamed Zayin. So, like we said, in Taf Lamed Vav we have a din that a person who's Yotzei Toich Lamed and he's not coming back till after Pesach, like we spoke about Riches last week, L'chayra, there's no reason for him to do a Bedika. Because the whole reason for Bedika, after he's going to do a Bittel takes care of Ba'ira, takes care of all his problems. The only problem with Bedika is Shem Yavel La'achloi, or maybe he's going to find the Chametz on Pesach and be Chasalav, not to burn it. Rashi, Tosfos, so it's not negay, he's gone, he's not coming back. So L'chayra, it's loy plug. That's what we find in the Gemara, that Kivan Shechal, and the Gemara declares, when we're Chazal, when Midrabanan, or we Mechal this Chiyav, Toich Lamed Yerim, that's ready. Hilchas Pesach, Hilchas Chag B'Chag, you're already oiskin the halachas, and from then Chazal already matal b'chiyav on this bias. So even though you're leaving and the tam doesn't apply, that's the loy plug of a Yetz B'Shara that Toich Lamed is chayv to b'dika b'chol oiskin. Again, like we said, without the eitzes of mechira. Mechira is a zunder eitzah, like we started speaking about this week. We'll get back to it a little bit now also. So that's one din. V'hu hadin by Seicher Masker. Taf Lamed Zayin. The din of Seicher Masker is the pshat that it's chal on the Seicher on the Masker Chiyav Toich Lamed. So be'etzim, if he would leave, he'd be chayiv. Narvas is mischadesh over here, that since there's a Seicher moving in, as long as he moves in before or Liyadalid, so that chiyav, which was chalamas bias, goes over from the master to the Seicher, so the Seicher takes on the chiyav. And we're matal the chiyav on him to take care of it, which v'hachi mistavra, ki harei, There's a whole shay on the place going. We saw in the Magen Avraham who's doing the bittul, what happened to the chametz of the masker when he leaves. Is he mafker? The Magen Avraham time is he is mafker. Achreimer Mefalpel is the soicher koine. He doesn't want to be koine of the masker's chametz. But b'cholay from the gabi the chiyuv bedika makes perfect sense. The soicher is the one who's there. He's the one who has the shami of the he's the one who might see a piece of chametz on Pesach and not burn it. So Mela, the chiyuv goes from the masker to the soicher kol oidit before Arlar Basar. What's before in Taf Lamed Zayin in the din of soicher masker Daf Dalid is that if it was already chal the Arlar Basar and it was already nichnas the Iker's man chiyuv bedikas chametz, so then the masker is stuck with the chiyuv, and even if he passes it on to the soicher has to, the masker still has to do the bedika. So b'chol ofen it's mevur in these two gemaras, and these two halachas of Bor and Shulchan Aruch Taf Lamed Zayin, that there's a din that toich lamed chazal or matel chiyuv bedikas chametz on this bias, and it has to be taken care of. And even if all the time don't apply, because you're going away, no one's going to be here, you're leaving, yetz b'shara, or you're the masker and you're not going to be around, afal pikein the chiyuv still blives. We say lo plug. And the only shaila is the chiyuv that's on this bias blind by you because it's your house and you're leaving, or does it go on to a soicher because he's moving in and it's more mustaver to matriach him to take care of the bedika? Ki yarei, he's the one who's going to have the problem that the bedika takes care of, which is the question of eating the chametz and finding the chametz. Fine. Those are the two dinim of the Gemara. The third halacha is the Raviyah that we spoke about already by Richos at the end of last week's shir in Taf Lamed Vav Sif Gimel. Raviyah was Mechadesh, and it's Mavur in the Merkatziyah that he learned it from the din of Yetz B'Shara. What's the din of Yetz B'Shara? It's Mavur that Toich Lamed, there's a Chalois Chiyav, and that Chalois Chiyav we say Loi Plug, so even if all the timing don't apply, you're not going to have any Bal Yirah, you're not going to be Shem Yechal, but Afal Pika and you're Chayiv. You were living in a house, Toich Lamed, do Bedika. Says the Raviyah, I don't see any difference between Beis Shal Yisrael or Beis Shal Goy. If you're living in an Achsanya by a Goy, Toich Lamed Yoim, and you're there, and you want to leave Toich Lamed, so Hagam, that there's a difference. When you're leaving your own house, it's b'shara, it's still your house. Says the Rav Yod, it's no nafkamina. Because anyway, the timing for bedika don't apply. It's just a chazal or matpo on yuchiv. Lamashal, if you would have stayed by Beis Shulchan, if you'd stayed there the whole Pesach, of course you'd be chayav bedika, right? So that's the light plug of chazal. You're in a place right now. We're heading into Pesach. You're going to be chayav. So we already make all that chiyuv from 30 days before. That's it. You're stuck. So you have to do that chiyuv. That's the sheet of the Rav Yod. And ever since we saw two nuschos, two drachim, b'havanas divrei Rav Yod, what we call the Taz and the Magen Avraham. The Maisa like the Taz before the truth of Chassam Sofer. But the Taz, Chassam Sofer takes this very extreme, even more so than we spoke of in Taz, that the Taz and Chassam Sofer held it's not shayach klal v'ikr to have any chiyuv on Beis Shal Goy. And even the Rav Yod couldn't be mechadish that. It just makes no sense. It's a bias that's not oimid to be Bershus Yisrael, but Pesach, you have to do Bedika, they couldn't be soil that side. Not like we remarked him with the Pashtas. The Pashtas says, yeah, loy plug. Once it's chal on the bias, it's chal on the bias. So the Chassam Sofer couldn't handle that. And he said the Rav Yod never meant that. And like the Taz we spoke out, the Taz says the only shaykhus is it's a chayvus gavra. Since you were in a house, Toich Lamed, it's chal on this mensch that he has to find the B'dikas Chametz somewhere. So how does he find the B'dikas Chametz? So just do it in the bias so good. And that's why the Rav Yod says that if you end up in a different house, so you can be yotzei on your chiyuv in that other house, and then you can just forget about the Beis Shal because really the Beis Shal has no chiyuv b'chal, just a chayvus gavra. That's the mechudesh l'ketzad that the Taz says. Umachmas came. The Taz Bemis rejects the Rav Yod. He says that halacha is not like this. Taz mechudesh l'ketzad mechates should be a chayvus gavra. B'dikas chametz, if you're in a house, fine. If there's a shaykhus, this house should have a b'dikas chametz, fine. If not, then there shouldn't be. So if the whole side is chayvus gavra, so forget it. That's the Taz. And the Pashtus we spoke at is like the Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham learns that the emes, it's the same loy plug, and that's bemis the Pashtus of the Rav Yod. Just like where's the Rav Yod learning his din from? He's learning it from a person who leaves Bishara his own house, and the timing don't apply. And afal piken, it's already the chiyuv, so it's sulei paka. Now that din of a yotze Bishara is even if he's going to a second house or a third house, he's going to become medik over there. Doesn't matter because he still has the chiyuv on this bias. So the chayr, the pashup shad is al derech zu the Rav Yod learned who had din bebeis shal goy. The Beis Shal Goy, I don't want to go back into Arichas. We have a kula by Beis Shal Goy that if you go to a different house, that's mafki you're doing from the first house. That's the Arichas we spoke about last week. But the etzem zushtel that the Rav Yod made from the din of Yotze B'Shara to Beis Shal Goy is l'chor hainu hach, that's a chiyuv on the bias. So the Goy has a chiyuv, you have a chiyuv on the bias of the Goy Toich Lamed. The fact that you're going to leave is not mafkiya that chiyuv. That's Shitas Rav Yod. Okay, now the Tur at the end of Taf Lamed Vav is chaylik on the Rav Yod. Tur holds there's no such chiyuv. So how do we understand Shitas Tur? So let's tell you how we understand the Rav Yod. The way the Taz and the Chassam Sofer understand, it's very simple. The whole side of the Rav Yossi is mechadish, there's naya chiddush, there's a chiyuv gavra that you're at, there's a chiyuv that's mutal on you. So the Torah just rejects that. Very simple. The whole side is the chiyuv gavra. That's very mechudesh. So the Torah. So that's what Taz says. We pass like the Torah. There's no such chiyuv. It's very simple. Shakal v'tari. Mashenkin, if you learn like the Magen Avram, so then the pshat is there's a loy plug. There's a chiyuv's bias, and that's what the Rav Yossi was mechadish. So why is the Torah chaylik on that chiyuv's bias? So Lamai Sazai, we can understand this Torah in one. Lafi the Magen Avram, that the Rav Yossi said there is a chayvus bias loy plug, just like when you leave your own house, leave the guy's house, there's a chiv on the bias. So Maishna, if you leave the bias of a guy, meaning let's ask it like that. The Rav Yossi has a Gemara. The Gemara says if you're in a house and you're leaving, so you have no shaykh to that house anymore. For Pesach, there's no chashash shemech stol chiv. So what then when you leave the house of a guy, even though the time don't apply? Let's say the loy plug. So we can answer. So we can understand the Torah's kula, the Torah's chaylik on the Rav Yossi. The first mahalach is the pasha chiluk, the difference between his house and not his house. Sachak soif kol soif, when you leave your own house, toich lamed, you're to b'shad. So Chazal say the chiyuv blibes on you. Maybe that's only because hagam at the time don't apply, but the chayvas like we spoke out last week, the chayvas hadar still applies. You're still a dar over there. Why are you a dar? It's your house. You're not coming back till after Pesach, so the timing don't apply. But etzem hakdara of the chayvas hadar, the etzem geder of this takanas chazal still applies to you. Your house was chal on your house bedika, so do bedika on your house, even though you're leaving your house, for another couple of months and not coming out till after Pesach. But otherwise it's your house, so melo yeah. So melo we still see where the chiv is chal. There it's shaykh loy plug, because the loy plug is mitzad the timing. The timing don't apply, but the etzem get chefts of the gzeir applies because it's your house. Hashem, when you leave a guy's house, the Torah may be simply understood. That's the whole hefza of this din doesn't apply. Meaning even, not like the Rav Yossi said you have to go into someone else's house and you have to do some other fancy thing to get rid of your shame dar in the bias. It says the Torah. As soon as you leave, you're mitna take, you have nothing to do with this house anymore. You don't own it, you don't rent it, nothing inside of it is yours, you're mafker everything in there. So as long as you have no shaykhs to that house, it's not shaykh to have a chayvas, that chayvas bias can't have any shaykhs too. Chazal can't be matla and on you and you have no shaykhs to that house at all, as long as you leave, koidim or larbasa. So that's one mahalach. That the chiddush of the Rav Yossi, which the Torah is chaylik on, is that the only time you can say loy plug is if if you have a zika to that house, because it's your house. You're coming back to your house. Shein kain if you're leaving the bayis shogay. That's one derech. That's the pasuk.
But the sefer shein Yisrael comes in, saying he still has the shein.
No, sefer shein of bayis shogay.
No, not bayis shogay. The sefer Yisrael takes over the masker.
Right, so that's what we said. The chayvus bias is here, but it's more mistar. They put it on the yid who's living there.
It's not the child's house.
No, by master circle, let's say it is my house. Here's Loikanya, it's my house. I own the house. But it's more mistaver, that's declared the Gemara. It's more mistaver to put the chiyuve bedika on the person who has the ikr chshashos from the bedika, which is shema yoichal, and you're going to find what's that? The loy plug is just that there's a chiyuv here. Then Chazal say, like Rashi speaks out, who should be matriach to do that chiyuv? But the chiyuv is there. If I care here, it's not a loy plug. Secher mask is not loy plug. The time will apply. Someone's going to eat chametz over here. That's shema yoichal. The time will apply. Shake it over here where the time don't apply. We need the loy plug. Okay, so that's the pashup shot. Now, the different kamachrenim, it's before a different mahalech. Pshat and Tur. That be'emes, and this is the Moraktzia, there's such a mahalach in Makar Chaim, it's before like this. That be'emes, the Rav Yossi Taina, the Torah is makabel, the Yisrael Taina. That be'emes, there's a chayvus habayit, and it's loy plug. And memela, you're leaving and you have no zika to that house, so what? Just like you're leaving your own house, you have no zika to your own house till after Pesach. Okay, so there's one side that, no, that's good for the nafkamina, that's your house, it can still be chayv loy plug, mashen that's the pasha side. Zok the Makar Chaim, Avada the Torah's masking. So fine, let's get the call straight. It's Toich Lamed, it's loy plug, and you're leaving a house. So I don't care if it's a guy's house, you're chayav. Says the Torah masking, you're taka chayav. So what do you have to do? You have to do bedika and beer. That would be the loy plug. Go do bedika beer if it's not negay. Says the Makar Chaim, I'm doing bedika beer. You know how I'm doing bedika beer? By leaving. What does bedika mean? Bedika means to gather around all the chametz that might be nimtza or not nimtza, any cracks and crevices, get it all together, be metzniya, wait till tomorrow, and then throw it in the fire. Now, as we'll see in Taf Mem, we paskin, you don't have to be emes or then throw anything in a fire. You could also throw it into the street. You could also give it to your goyish neighbor as a present, and he could eat it the whole Pesach, no problem. As long as you give it to him before it's Ban Isser, you're not going to get it from the chametz. So, Tainus Makar Chaim, the Torah has a pasha to Taina. I'm asking to everything you're saying. It's loy plug, and there's a chal chayvas bedika beer. But you're in the beer gadol mizu. Now, as we'll see in the next sugya, we have to differentiate between beer and tashbisu. This might not be a kiyum of mitzvah tashbisu. There's a shaila in many achronim and also rishonim whether selling chametz to a guy is a kiyum of mitzvah tashbisu. But let's forget about mitzvah tashbisu for right now. Certainly, it's a kiyum of beer chametz. Meaning, if you hold tashbisu as only b'sreifa, but erev yont, if you do a ganze bedika and then you take it and you're a fire of zera ruach or you give it to your goyish neighbor, you certainly took care of the chiyuv bedika beer kefi shetiknu chazal. That you took care of. There's a question of kiyum mitzvah tashbisu. Is that a mitzvah kiyumis? That we'll see. That's a different child. But so now the Makor Chaim held that this time is so stark. That's why he paskin like the. That's why he's noted to paskin like the Torah. Because what's the problem? All the chidushim the Rav Yos says the Makor Chaim you can accept. You don't have to say like the Taz that it's a mechudesh to Chayvus Gavra and the Torah rejects that. You don't even have to say like the Magen Avram. There's an afkamina if you're leaving a place that's shaykh to you, not shaykh to you. We can kabel all the loy plugs in the world and all the suloi paka that it was ready chal v'chiv toich lam b'yom, but you're makayim beer b'dika al yidei. So that's Makor Chaim's mahalach in the Torah. Why he passes like the Torah. Now, let's just get something straight. Saber says, I think we mentioned it last week. The Mishnah Brura, at the end of the Sim in Taf Lamed Vav, speaks about the very common practice that everyone does. Certain halakha of your house or your old house, you sell to a guy. And Mishnah Brura says that the ikar halacha is like the Chasam Sofer and the Binyan Olam, that even if you're only doing the mechira on your dalad by day, that will pater. If you have a certain room that you're selling to the guy, you can pater that room which will be sold the next day. You don't have to do b'dikas chametz the night before. So that's the ikar halacha that we're semich on the mechira to the guy. That's even happening the next day. The machmirim hold you have to do mechira so you're able to sell it before you dal. But we hold meikar then you could be semich on mechira so dal. So if we hold like this Rav Yah, which the Mishnah Brura says l'chatchila should be machmir. Many places can say meikar then you would make like the Torah, but it's at least l'chatchila. Mishnah Brura seems to say that Mishnah Brura says that you should be machmir like the Rav Yah. So if you're machmir for the Rav Yah, so what does it help that tomorrow I'm going to give it over to the guy? Hooray, I'm leaving the house. Just like leaving the house of a guy, here I'm just selling it to a guy. So my shna, giving it over to a guy, leaving the house of a guy doesn't pat you. Certainly, if you're the Rav Yah. So the aside is that mechira shiny. Because what's the point of the Torah? The point of the Torah is I'm chaylik on you, Rav Yah, because by leaving this house, ein l'cha bir gadol mizu. The Rav Yah holds no. Yesh l'cha bir gadol mizu. Why? Because leaving a guy's house ultimately is up to Rav Yah, just hefker. It's really just a glorified bittul. It's a very extreme bittul because your mom is leaving and you're leaving everything behind to the guy. But l'chayra pshat in Rav Yah is that ultimately you're not doing anything b'yadayim. You're not doing a bediko beer b'yadayim. L'mayis you're just leaving the chametz. Leaving the chametz up to Rav Yah, that's a tzura of just being mafker chametz. Mafker chametz is not enough toich lam b'yom. This hefker is such stark a hefker because it's not just tam hefker in your house. Your mom it's being transferred over to the rishus of a guy. Zok to Rav Yah, but it's still different than picking up the chametz and giving it a matana to a guy. It's still different than picking it up and selling it to a guy. And that's the chayr the pshat that it's only a bittul, and that's the din. Toich lam, you can't be samich on bittul. So that's the Rav Yah's chumrah, and that's the chayr meaning lefi the Makor Chaim. That's kuf the machlokes Torah and Rav Yah. Lefi the Torah, what's the difference between a dayim, dish be a dayim? You leave it over by a guy in the chabir gadol mizan. Says Rav Yah, no. Since it's in a tzura of just being mafkir, which is really what bittul is. So memelo toich lam, you can't be samich on bittul. Bittul and hefker b'vad kiri. You have to do something b'yadayim. You have to do a beer b'kum b'esei. So Rav Yah says that means you have to go do bedika and get it together. Now, what are you going to do with the chametz when you find it? What?
Taking it out of the house. And just
that would be a kiyum of beer. Meaning, we can't say what else are you supposed to do. That is the mitzvah. That's the mitzvah kitikun. What does the Rav Yah want you to do this guy's house? He wants to take the chametz and do what with it? Take it out. Or maybe you could go to the guy balabas and give it to him matana. Maybe that would also be a kiyum. I don't know. Yishlayim. That's shibul tzarechim. Exactly what you have to do b'yadayim since you're in the guy's house anyway. But don't just leave it. That's the Rav Yah's time. Just leaving it is hefker. Hefker toichlam. You're not allowed to do it. So, the svara of these achronim that were samich on, to do mechira sedalin, the svara of these achronim is, but mechira is different. Mechira is b'kum b'esei. Again, then it's not, you're not physically picking up the chametz, you're being yachad a makom, you're being yachad certain amount of chametz, you're signing the shtar shah, and you're making a mechira. So that, and that's what Mishnah Brura says. Mishnah Brura brings some binyan oil, and that's actually a kiyum, potentially a kiyum of tashbisu. But even if it's not a kiyum of tashbisu, it's l'kol hapachos, yes, a kiyum of beer, just like throwing it out into the street, or giving it to a guy on Dalad Nisan, Yud Nisan, Yud Beis Nisan. That's a kiyum of the beer of kumbasi. And that's the question. What? Right, exactly. That's a kiyum of beer. Now, that's also shona b'machlokes. Some achronim say no, it's not enough. You have to do mechira shegim. What I'm saying is, there's no reason. Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying is that even mach the chumrah of the Rav Yah, it's toich kedei. The Mishnah Brura, right after saying you should be machmir for the Rav Yah, the next shtickle, Mishabur, then Tavoni says, yeah, but selling is okay. Why? Because that's not just being mafkir. That's not being over on Takanas Chazal. The Toich Lamed don't just do bittul. It's not just bittul.
Why is he giving the key also to the mice? Like, you have the key, and he gave the key back to the goy. The goy didn't come back. He didn't move back into the house. So he gave him the key back. So here's your key back. Take your key back.
Yeah, it's not a hakno. It's not a hakno. It's tam the schirus. Maybe he goes down. He leaves everything behind. And certainly, giving over the key certainly does not a pula klapi the chametz. Meaning, what about the chametz? So he says, the chametz, leave it. Whatever's there, I don't care about.
There's no chatzah begoy also.
Yeah, with that, right. And maybe bitaita, maybe there would be some kind of kinyan chatzar, but the point is, on the chametz alein, he's just leaving it. Just leaving it's not enough, and that's good for the shayla. Now, okay. So that's why mechira is a little bit different now. So let's go to the shayla now of someone who's in the bias of a guy on Orlar Basar. This whole discussion of Yotzei Bishara from the Yid's house, from a guy's house, that's all a gabe that Toich Lamed you're still chayiv. Before Lamed you're pater, Toich Lamed you're chayiv. Machlokes Torah Ravya. Now we're speaking of different studim why the Torah is cholek on the Ravya. Is the Ravya mechudesh the thing of Chavis Gavra? Pashas not. It's a din in the bias, and it's a loy plug. That's the Ravya. And the Cholkim, the Torah, holds either that you don't say the loy plug because it's not my house, b'chal I'm totally leaving, or that I'm being mekayim a beer al yidei that I'm leaving. That itself in l'chabir gad l'mizud l'makar chayim svar. So now, let's say I'm in the hotel, Orlar Basar. Orlar Basar, and I'm planning to leave the next morning before his Isser, just to make it simple, and leaving for good. You were there for a few days, and you're leaving that last night, then you're spending the last night Orlar Basar, and then you're going. So l'chayra if you pasha make a cheshbon, so what should come out? So l'fi the Ravya, so l'chayra pasha you're chayv to do b'dika. Harei l'fi the Ravya, for the whole 30 days before, if you leave, you're chayv to do b'dika. Right? Yotzim in Beis Shulgai. So assuming this is Yotzim in Beis Shulgai, so that's it. You have to do bedika. Kol Shekain here was already chal or lar basar. The ikar zman of the chayvas bedikas chametz was chal, so you have to do bedika. And azoi. So now, l'fi the Ravya we know when you leave the Beis Shulgai, if you go into a different house and makayim your mitzvah over there, so then you can forget about the guy's house. But shtei truvas b'davar. That's l'chayra first of all only before your chiyuv was chal in this place in Yodal. But here was already chal Yodalit. So even though you're going the next day into a place that bedika was done for you, let's say you're going to your parents' house or someplace on the day and the bedika was done for you. But if the whole yisoid of the Rav Yos is a chayvus bias, but if you're oiker your deer from the bias base social guy and go to a different house, that's oiker your deer from the guy. So over here you're only going b'yom Yodal. It's too late. By Orlar Basar it was already chal on you the chiyuv, but base social guy. And you weren't oiker anything, so that leaves you with a chiyuv. Meaning like this. Lefi the Taz and the Chasam Sofer, that there's never a chiyuv in Beis HaShulga. It's all just the Chayvas Gavra. Yesh Ladan, that maybe even lefi the Ravya, you'd be potter, because even though you're not doing Bedika Beguf, because you're in the hotel, you're not doing Bedika, you go the next day, but since you're going to a place that's they're checking for you, so you're going to your parents' house. So the room that you're staying in, they're doing it for you, maybe they're doing it b'shlichuscha. So you're being Mekayim some kind of Bedikas Chametz. Even because you're not lamaisa being mekayim your chayvas gavra, maybe with shlichus you are yesh la'ayin b'zeh. That's only the feed of mechudesh tiket tzad. The whole nidin here is the chayvas gavra. But if the like the pashim shot that there's a chiyuv on this makom beis shulgai, and by leaving the beis shulgai it can't be mafkiya the chiyuv because it's already chal. Even toich lamed l'fi der v'yakolshkein on yadal. So and even that you're going before Pesach to a different house, it's too late. The whole yisod of going somewhere else, mafkiya that on Yudal you don't have a chiyuv here, but here it's on Yudal, you already have a chiyuv here. Now Hagam, the yesh la'ayin, if the person himself does a mechiras chametz, most people today, every person does a mechiras chametz. That means that on this man before this man Isra and Yudal, all their chametz in the whole world is sold everywhere. But l'chayra yesh la'ayin is l'chayra, just like every person is going to do a bedikas mechiras chametz and all his chametz in his whole house. He still does bedikas chametz. Still chayav to bedikas chametz because he's chayav in that makom. L'chayr who had in this hotel room that l'maisa this makom is a makom chayav hagam that you plan on doing a mechiras chametz. It's not b'chlal clear that you could do a mechiras chametz on the chametz in this hotel room because by tomorrow this man mechir you already left this room. Nothing, you don't have access to it anymore. It's not yours anymore. It's probably like 2 tishnam. It's mufker. Akapanim the mechir probably every Jew does mechir today. Every Baal Bas does mechir. So Memela,
you gotta be mindful of that. house.
So that's what I'm saying. You can't really be meicher the hotel anyway. So I think the mechira doesn't make enough community. But I'll call upon him. So l'chayr azar. L'fi the Rav Yah, l'chayr have a chiyuv. You have a chiyuv that you're in a place toich lamed. You're leaving all the time. You don't apply. You don't have any shaykhs to this house anymore. You're not going to eat the chametz. You're mafkir the chametz, but that's the Rav Yah's shita. Hefker is not good. Toich lamed. You can't be yotzei. You just have to apply.
They're going to do the cleaning after anyway.
Oh, so that's the question. Are they going to do a bedika? No one's going to do a bedika. Assuming no one's going to do a bedika. But adrabah, if you're in a hotel that you think that other yidden might come in the next day, it's more of a reason to be mechayev you, because arlar bot then it's like masker soicher. Arlar basar I'm here tomorrow another whatever soicher soicher. But the point is, in the din of masker soicher, we say that whoever's there at the beginning, he's the one who's chayev, even if he's leaving. Meaning the fact that someone else is coming in is more chomer. Then even the chasam soifer is masking. This place needs a bedika. This is a place where yid's going to be on Pesach. Needs a bedika. Now the question is, al mi hitrichu. So al mitrichu. Let's look at the beginning of Knesset Yadalad. If you're here, Knesset Yadalad, charetz yerchiv.
Can't be sent on the cleaning crew? The actual...
No, how can you send from the cleaning crew? Tonight you'd have a chiyuv or larbosa. You have a chiyuv, and you can't wait till tomorrow. A, B. Like we said many times, the cleaning itself might not be enough. It's not a bedika. They don't do a proper job. So maybe told maybe they would, but even if they do a proper job, it's or larbosa. You can't wait till the next day. Now, that's all the feeder of Yah. But let's say you say we're mekel. Like many achreidim hold, even the Mishmur says ikra, then you can be sent on the tour. That the Torah holds yotzim mibeisa shel goy is beseder, and you don't have to do a bedika. But l'maisa, if yotzim mibeisa shel goy is the pshat that we said, what's the posh pshat in the Torah? That yotzim mibeisa is because it's my house, but here I'm yotzim mibeisa shel goy, so I have no more shaykhs to that house, and as soon as I walk out the door, I have no shaykhs. That's taka mafkiya my chiyuv. If that's the mahalach in the Torah, l'chor, that's only before Yud Dalet. Because again, if the whole point is there is a chayvus abayis, it says the Torah, it's very easy to be mafkiya. The Rav Yah requires that you go to a different house to be mafkiya. It's very simple. Just walk out the door. You have no shaykhs to that place. It's paka your chiyuv. It's paka which chiyuv? It's paka that when it comes bihigia lel Yud Dalet, Chazal don't say go do a chiyuv because well, I have no shaykhs in that place. Mashenkin, if you leave your own house, you still have a shaykhs. So Mashenkin, once it was already chal lel Yud Dalet, so it's too late. It was already chal. So after me'acher chal chiyuv or labas what comes there that you can't be mafkiya, even looking at the Torah. The only tzad would be if you say like the Makar Chaim. Right? We have a tzad like this. What's the other pshat in the Torah? That the Makar Chaim holds Ein Chanami Am Chayiv. Says the Makar Chaim. That's the Torah. But leaving is the beer. Right? So you can say it like this. When am I leaving? I'm leaving tomorrow, right? So I'm doing beer tomorrow. But that we know from the place and the Taflam. Just like when you do a mechira on your daled, it patters you the night before. Why don't I have to do a bedika on that room? So I'm doing a beer tomorrow. That's fine. So here also, l'maisa, if you hold like that side of Makar Chaim, that the leaving itself is a beer, the dasatur. So then even though arla arbasa you're there, it's as if you're selling the whole house tomorrow. Right? A person who's in his house and he's not leaving until the morning, but he's selling his entire house. So you'd be potter. You're being mafkir your chiyuv if there's a kakaf to the guy chiyuv, right? Mechir is okay because you're soymich on the fact that what do you need bedika for? Bedika is to get it together to be mavar. Okay, I'm getting this whole house together. I have the whole house. I see it. I don't have to check for anything. And tomorrow I'm giving mavar the whole house. I'm giving the whole house to the guy. I'm being moicher, become that. So you can say that also. Here also the person who's leaving, if the leaving itself, leaving Beis Shal Goy, like the Lamdas Makar Chaim, that's a beer. So you can soymich on tomorrow's beer to pat you tonight. But that's one sad. And l'char the mechudesh think it's that.
The Yisrael's coming back. You said even the Yisrael's coming back.
And l'char would still pat you. If this tzad, the fact that you're leaving, no, it might be worse actually. I'm not sure. Kipshuta, yes, because once you're leaving, you're mafka everything. That's a beer. Klapi you, it's a beer. Now, then an hour later, a yid's going to come in. You're leaving it by the goy. When you leave, it goes to the goy's rishus. An hour later, the next yid comes in. It could be it's not your cheshbon. This is one side of the Torah. The Shebur says you have to match for that Rav Yah. And even the place who are megal the chatchila like the Torah. So the pashup shad, okay, this is the Makar Chaim, but the pashup shad is l'chayra that the Torah is not being mechadesh. We don't have to make a machlokes in that prat. The Rav Yah held leaving is not a beer. It's not enough. That's just hefker. You can't be samach hefker. So the pashup shad, the Torah is masking to that. Narvas, the Torah just told leaving the house is enough. Leaving the house is enough to mefkia. So in Cain, then what I'm saying is l'fi the Rav Yah l'chayr pashup chayiv. And l'fi the Torah, the pashtus l'chayr advar noitim that the pashtus l'fi the Torah, it's too late. Chal yadalid, leaving doesn't help to be mefkia your chiyuv. Yeah, l'fi one side of the Torah, that it's a beer, then you can be soymach on those achayim that the leaving tomorrow, the beer tomorrow, you can be soymach on today. L'chayr that's tzarachin. That would leave us l'chayr with halach l'maisa. That would leave us with a tzad to be mechayiv. chayr lahalacha to be l'chayiv. Now,
So
so what about the bracha? So azay. So first of all, the Maimar Musgar is the Makar Chaim. Makar Chaim, and Mishmur brings it, it's Kat and Vav, is machalik between, this is shtikol raya l'dvarinu. Makar Chaim says that hamasker beis of Yadal is dafka masker, but not moicher. And he says that's the var, because dafka masker, it's shaykh for the masker to be chayiv, because he's still his house. He's just a masker. But hamoicher beisoy, that he's menatik himself and gansin from the house, then avada goes over to the seicher, the chiyuv. Now, if you just read the Makar Chaim simply read, there's makom to understand that he's talking about even selling it on Yadal. Even if on Yadal you'd actually sell the house, that could be mafkir, the chiyuv which was already chal. I mean, it comes Yadal, I'm chal. And I say, okay, but I'm signing it off. You sign that contract on Yadal, an hour after it says. It's a little bit. It's yesh makom loymar in the Makar Chaim that you can mafkir your chiyuv. L'mais it's not mukhrach.
That because no chance, maybe he won't come back.
Who won't go back?
Maybe.
I'm selling
So,
it. No, master. There's a circuit coming in, but he's saying it's still you still have a zikah to that house. L'maisa, l'ma'ayim Makar Chaim and the kach mefurish begraz is the tzir they're talking about by mechira is like the tzir of the Gemara. The tzir of the Gemara of Shulchan Aruch at least on Alibi Doran is that you rented it on your gimel tzorich yodalit. But the actual schirus, the chozeh schirut, was on your gimel. And the question is who had the key on yodalit. So all the Makar Chaim is saying if you sold the house on your gimel, then I don't care who has the key. It doesn't matter if you're holding on to the key. If you sold the house, having a key is like just like your neighbor has a key to your house. He's not chayiv, the place can say. It's just a nifgad. So the regular you sell the house, then the key issue doesn't matter. But avada, the graz is madgish that avada the mechir has to be your gimel. Ve'hein advarim. After it's chal chayvus bedika on your dalit, at least lahalacha. Mishbru quotes this Makar Chaim. Mishbru paskins Rav Yoel lechatchila, which means that even if you're leaving beis shal goy, ein lecha nituk and aziva and ein lecha leaving gadol mizu. And afal pikin your chayiv, so go adin avad if you had in your own house your chal chayvus bedika ba'arli yadal, avad you'd be chayiv even if you sell it. Too late. Elam kain there's malkum lachalek that you're passing it on to the other to another yid. You're selling it to this. Maybe you could be misreik in the chiyuv even on achar shechaydav, but the pash is not. Just like that would be just like Seicher Master. Once it's chal b'chiyuv on you yadal. So the grass is mefurish that even if you sell your house, the ma'isa you blind with the chiyuv if it's after it was chal yadal. And even if there would be a tzad, it would only be because you're passing it on to the other yid. Tachlis, the guy in the hotel, he's not passing it on to anyone. He's going to be beis shel goy. It was already chal yadal. The feeder Rav Yoel, there's no steer in this Makar Chaim. The feeder Rav Yoel, it's pashut your chayiv. And even the das hatur, the pash is your chayav. So what would be with a bracha? How so? Who exactly? I'm in a hotel. Who's doing? When? I'm sleeping here early.
Before you leave.
What do you mean? It's ready. I was ready. I was ready. Mevatel mitzvah chiyuv chazal. Arlar basi. You have to do a chiyuv. Arlar basi. I can't wait till tomorrow. It's also wait till tomorrow. And bifrat, I don't know if they're making the shlichus. It could be mitzidam if the owners of the hotel want to be samech on the cleaning crew. So we have different studim we spoke about that maybe
and
they can be samech on achsadra, and that the cleaning is good enough. Stay there. But mitzad your chiyuv tonight, you have chametz in this room tonight. Because I'll say this. What are you doing with this chametz? So you're going to say, I'll leave it tomorrow. I'm going to leave. You're not allowed. Also, is Rav. Now, what about a bracha? So my says,
Could you start up an answer if you'll say that if the place is already bought up when you come in?
Say it. I'm assuming. Say it. If it's a makom shemachnis, but that again, we're not samich on any of that. We're not samich that you come into a hotel room that it's bodik from it's makom shemachnis. Makom shemachnis, since it's not bodik. So the Pri Megadim, the end of the Taflan Vav has this case. Unfortunately, at the end of the Mishpat, the end of Taflan Vav, the Pri Megadim says Maisa. Maisa be'echad dar bebeis ein Yisrael b'lal yudalid. But I told him to leave last 5 lines of Mishpat Taflan Vav. So he says you're planning on being Yudalid Lel B'dikas Chametz. You're in one hotel, and the next night you're moving to the next hotel for the rest of the Pesach. Says the Pri Megadim, Avada, you have to go make a bracha in the place where you're going to be, not where you are. I mean that's where you're going to be the whole Pesach. Avada, you have to do a B'dikas Chametz over there.
When are you going to be there? Tonight?
You're going tomorrow, Erev Pesach. You're moving into the next hotel. Yeah, from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim, going to Hotel Yerushalayim. So you have to go Lel Arba. So that's your Iker Makom Chiyuv B'dika. Because the guy's not doing bedika for you. He's talking about going into a guy's hotel. He's not doing bedika for you. And you have to make sure when you come on Pesach that your house is going to be bodik. You have to do bedika there. It's up there. So I think what you should do is go to the second place, make a bracha, and don't be Mesiach Das, and run back to the first place where you're staying that night, to the hotel or Lar Basar, and do bedika there. Why you chayiv to do bedika there? Says the Pri Megadim, wouldn't believe it. Ner Chanukah. Told you, we're good. So he says that the halacha by Ner Chanukah, he's referring to the halacha of chshad, that a person has shtei pesachim. So even if you light on one kivun, if your house is on two streets, if you light on one window, so then you're gonna have a problem. People are gonna see the other window, they see that you're not lighting Ner Chanukah. So you're mechuyev to light in both windows. So the Pri Megadim seems to be saying that to Huadin Hacha, well, you're not going to do B'dikas Chametz. You're walking around Ar La'Arabasa. It's a right that B'dikas Chametz doesn't take 5 minutes because then no one will be choshing you. But Yizak there, Ubayis Shador Balayla Yirid Dechayev Levaroi the B'yotzi Toichlam B'dein Tzarech Mashen King Zeh. He says the chiluk, you're leaving Toichlam B'd Mashen King Zeh Shaloi Tachlik Ben B'dika LeB'dika V'haroye Yoimar V'chulei V'chi Hai Gavna B'ner Chanukah. It's up there the bracha, you have to make the bracha in the other house. Because that's your ikar place for the whole yontif. And over here, you should not be Mesiach Das or make a shliach, fine. And the chayra... So the tzarech gadol, Pri Megadim, and chanami. The Pri Megadim is saying, Klor, that you're takachayv to make a bedika, but he's making up some issue with Bimid Ner Chanukah. What shaykh is Ner Chanukah? Ner Chanukah is outside. That's why there's no chshad b'zman zeh, because everyone's lighting inside. B'dikas chametz, last I checked, is inside, not outside. So why would there be any chshad?
That's how he learned the Yerushalmi. He learned that it's a low plug shash royim. People are going to say you didn't do a bedika, or they're going to make.
Yeah, what's the shaykhus in Bnei Aroyim? That's
how he learned the Yerushalmi. That's how he learned.
That's al zeh gufa nedanim. That's what I'm asking. You're saying it's a pella. That's not. It's a pella. Where's the royim? It's inside. You do because comes inside. Who's seeing you? Everyone's in there. Has to be outside. Ner Chanukah is trying to pass by. Chalui pass by Pesach. It's Pesach. It's Ner Chanukah. It's not a big pella. And it's chayiv from Tzeisach Chavim Shkiyas Acham or whatever. Actually, it's supposed to be in there. There's no.
Right, you got to do the chinam on the ground.
Right. Okay. Maybe from outside, no, in a chanami. Maybe it's in the chotzer. Maybe that's takim shat b'gam shtikol tzarich. Akalpanim lidvarenu. We don't have to come on to this loy tachlik. Kipshuta tzachiv mekardin. Again, if maybe you'll tell me we don't mamish paskin the ravya, we paskin the tour. If you one side of the tour, you send on the fact that you're leaving, and the leaving is the beer, and we can say shtikol tzarich with karchaim. But kipshuta. So I don't know about a bracha. Mistami should not make a bracha because the ma'aseh the art style with the chasam sofer, gedolei achronim, chasam sofer from gedolei achronim, as Chudish as it sounds, as tamur as it sounds to me, but the Ma'aseh of Chasam Sofer, it's all about a chayvus garba, so you'd also be potter. There's art studying. Well, the Medina, there's a chiyah, there's a shtickle, a tzad gomer al pi halacha that you're mechuyev, nothing to do with the Bnei Arayim, there's a shloi tachlik, but rather because there's a chayvus bias and toichlamed, it's already chal v'chiv. And the Pri Megadim seems to allude to that. Ayin Sham B'Shonim, he seems to allude to the fact that it's toichlamed, there's no chiv, mash ein kein bazeh. Then he goes on to explain, but that's only because of Bnei Arayim. Forget about the Rayim. You have a chiv, loy plug, loy chilku chacham b'takanoseh.
Have this also the Chadei Chadar, don't you?
What?
Yeah, I'm going. Because of Marasayin. The Chadei Chadar, they can't see, you still have to,
Yeah, I don't think it's mamish maras ayin. Maras ayin is copying iser. This is like shad. This is mamish halach. He's quoting from Ner Chanukah. Because manenu, like we assume that if you have two windows, you don't have to light in both. Because people just think you're lighting inside. So there's no chashad. So I'm saying, why should it be chashad if I don't see you doing b'dikas chametz? I never saw anyone here do b'dikas chametz. I'm not choshed anymore.
If someone's in the house, they can see you.
What?
If they were in the house, they can see you. Even though they're not in the house.
Right. Okay. So I'm just saying, whether or not this Pri Megadim has a tzad that there is a chashash or maras ayin in the outside, that's the ma'aseh. What my point is, we don't have to come on to that because the chayra, the fida etzim shailon and takanis chazal b'dika b'toichlamin, you're leaving your house, and al pi the ravya, and even the fida tour kanal barichos. So the pshat is the chayra chayim medino. Chayra shouldn't make a bracha.
Pri Megadim, he hasn't yet made a kinyan on the second.
Yeah, that's a very interesting
He's
point.
able to do b'dika in a makom. It's not as bad.
So I think the Pri Megadim were you did make a kinyan, meaning you already signed the shtar or whatever. You have a deal with the guy already. I don't know how much of a deal and how much of a deal you need, and that is a very good point. We're going to get to that right now. Actually, that's the next child.
He just doesn't discuss it.
He's asking, he says you go to the second house, but he says I think he says he was sachar kvar. The bias eno Yehudi acher she sachar kvar. He says you made the schirus already. Just it was a schirus for well tesvav. That you're only moving in, let's say at night or a few minutes before shkia.
He has access to the house. He just
That's what it sounds like.
and sends a bracha outside the house.
No. He goes. He does bedika there. Yeah, he's doing bedika there. Right.
Yeah.
Now, so this is actually going to get to our next discussion,
There's no like
and that's the question of Seicher Masker. What?
There's no like Yishut in the house.
Over there he does. I think Pri Megadim saying he does. He's saying you're going there and doing bedika. He says go and do bedika. I guess you asked the guy for permission. I don't know exactly.
And we're not choshesh for kishuf on that. Tell the guy, oh, by the way, day before, I just want to walk around with the candle.
Interesting. Right here. It's not a hole.
You say you gotta do something.
They all have
He doesn't
candles
see that.
here. going into the Chayyim Stagin. Okay, he asked the guy to go outside. Okay. That is a good point, which is, let's say he wouldn't have Sachar Kvar, and he knows he's going to be there, could he go do Bedika? So that brings us to the next shayla we're going to discuss. Very, very common issue, that one family leaves their dira in Yerushalayim on Rosh Chodesh, and they're renting out. So fine. So if you rent, so we spoke last week. If no one's coming into your apartment, you could be saving just the mechira. You sell the whole thing. You don't have to do bedika. Yesh machmirim. They do bedika before they leave. Let's assume that b'chiyah gavnu, you just sell the whole dira and do bedika where you get to in America. But you're renting out your apartment. Someone's coming in. He's only coming in on Yudalid by the morning. He's arriving from America, Pashan Erev Pesach. So how, who, and when should the bedika be done on this dira? So you're obviously cleaning the dira for Pesach for them, because if they're coming Erev Pesach, the stomach in the Tanai they made with you in the contract, it has to be mamish clean. So it's clean. Kasher that kasher the kitchen for them, whatever they did. And you made a clean house for Pesach. But my stats should be clean. That wasn't bedika. You didn't go arlar basa. You didn't go around with arhan there. So the house is not still not bothered from chametz. That's our old discussion from Simon Tov Lamed Gimel, exactly why and when, and maybe in some way found if it is a bedika. Let's assume you did a regular cleaning, but no bedika was done. So the chayvus Akiva derabbanan to do bedikas chametz.
There's no key.
Oh, so soicher master, we know the halacha is machlokes rishonim lefi daran. They would have to have made a kinyan and get the key. Lefi Tosfos, enough they should just get the key. Now, getting the key to move in the place game is the pshat who has access, you or me. It's one or the other, and that's why the Pri Megadim says that if the door is open, who adin if the door is open, or who adin if they both have keys, then the key issue becomes not negea. And I assume that's the case. I mean, let's talk about this situation. The person leaves, he obviously retains a key for himself. He retains access to the dira. And the idach key, so he tells him the code to the door, or he tells him that whenever you come, go to the neighbor and pick up the key. The key's under the mat, whatever it is. Let's assume everyone has access. So they have a key. It's kavyochol, they have a key. The soichrim, we're not yet here. So if they made a kinyan, b'darkei kinyanim, so then lefi daran, they have a kinyan, and they have the key, they'd be mechuyev. Hagam, they didn't move in yet. So when would they be mechuyev? So theoretically, when they come into the house on Yudal Bayoim, they would do a bedika. That's when they're arriving. So the question is, would it be odd for them to send the shliach the night before to do bedika? I don't know. Well, that's a little bit telling Simon Tov Lamed Hey. A person who was not boidik by night, so he's boidik by day. Bedika by day is gar b'diavad. We know that. But let's say you just weren't there yet, and maybe if I care, like you're saying, is it klar they can even do a bedika? So here maybe it's different. They made a kinyan schiras. Well, I'm assuming the Rav HaMikrin. Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's an unclear issue. Let's say I would tell him, you want to come? I give you the price. The price is from Erev Pesach. You want to come? You give him by night. It's not going to make enough to meet the price. Let's assume. So maybe like a little less official thing. So I think with there's no kinyan. If they don't give a down payment, in most cases you're not paying until afterwards. No kesef. There's no shtar chazak until they come. So Mamela, without a kinyan, then the only way to be mechayiv them, even if the poskim were machmer like Tosfos, it's more in the poskim shmurah. That's only if you give them your only key that the master can't get in, and only the soicher has access. And then masiris maftech, then it's their chiyuv. But here, where they both have maftechas, kol they don't make a kinyan, l'chari the chiyuv bleibt by the master. Yeah. Yeah, klar. Because the whole nakuda that let's talk about shitas Tosfos. That's not telling key. It's telling key. But that's the pshat, like Tosfos says, and like Shulchan Aruch and Mishmur says, because the master says, "What do I want to do? I can't get in there anymore. It's yours. It's your access. You take care of it." So here, where I still have access, and they didn't make a kinyan, if they did not make a kinyan, if they didn't give you any money yet, l'chayr l'kuli alma would be al hamasker livdei. So which is a chiddush that I don't know if people realize. So you clean your house for Pesach, it's mamish all badak and it's not badak. I'm sorry, it's all clean, and you prepared it. They're paying extra money. You're preparing the whole dira for Pesach for them. Well, the Maisa, they're coming in Yudal in the morning. So since ba'ar lar ba'asar, you're still the bailim, even though you're not there, you're long gone. You already Rosh Chodesh went to America. So the Maisa, you're chayiv to do bedika. When are you chayiv to do bedika? Shiara, yoytze b'shiara, toich lamed. The reason you have a chiyav here, it's even more than shiara because someone else is coming in. You're the master, and you're being master than mabayis ba'oifin that you know that ba'ar lar basar it's still going to be b'rishus in your rishus. So before you leave, ba'ar lar basar, you have to do bedika. That's taka the din. Now, you're allowed. Okay, now they could. If you don't do the bedika, they'll be mechuyev. They could do bedika, but to put them into a matzah where they're going to do bedika or hayom and yadal is zikr b'diavad. Now the question arises very often in this mitzias where it's a clean house. Would it be adif to not do bedika before you leave, but rather to send the shliach or larbasar to do a bedika on the bayis. Ubazeh, you could even make a bracha, and it's the ikar zman chiyuv. Why would you go back and do shara? Do ar larbasar. So Maisa says there's a tshuva in Shevet HaLevi, in Chelak Tes, Simon Kuf Yud Ches, and he's not talking about our case. He's talking about the din of the Gemara mamash. And din of the Gemara, it means yetz b'shara. What's the din of yetz b'shara? Stop. You're leaving your house. You're not coming. No mechiras. You're leaving your house. You're mechuyev to bedika before you leave. So the shaila there was, but what if you could make a shliach to go or larbasar and do bedika? Wouldn't that be better? So he starts clarifying the Claire. It's also to get to Hilchos Chanukah. You want to believe it? And because by Hilchos Chanukah is a famous shaila that if the husband's coming home late, lachas man tichla regel, sometime late at night where it's chash tichla regel, should the family light without him? It's reason makdimin, or should he wait for the hiddur or the Indian or something that he should come home? So he refers to that. Tachlis, he says over here like this. He says here it's much worse. Over there he thinks that you should talk away because the husband can make a bracha when he comes home, even though it's reason it's a hiddur for him to make a bracha. But Masha'ikid over here, he says much worse because here when you leave on Rosh Chodesh, that bedika is without a bracha. It's not there. If it's without a bracha, that's an indication there's a big chisaron in this mitzvah. It's not the ikar zman mitzvah. It's a chisaron that guf mitzvah, not just reasons. Masha'ikid ar larbasar, you make a bracha, so then you should takas and the shliach. He says you should takas and the shliach. Yeah, and that's what he recommends. He says make sure the shliach's not going to be mezalzel, because in that case he's going to an empty house. No one's going to be there for Pesach. You left 2 weeks ago, and he's coming to do a bedikas chametz. So make sure it's not mezalzel. Then it's taka better for him to do bedikas men. And it's mamash tema this tshuva, because why? What does the Gemara say?
Isn't in the first Machaber it says im einu meniach b'beis of yishivtay. That's the meniach.
That what?
That's the means of chiyuv b'bedika. It's meniach yishivtay.
Then
the whole din doesn't apply.
if you're meniach shivtay, I'm talking about someone who's living there. Let's say no one's living there.
Yeah, that's what he means. Only if someone's living there. Mishi yaseh b'bedika.
The Arlar Basar? No, yes, I think that's cool for the question. I think yes, and I'll tell you why. Because what's the chiyuv when I leave on Rosh Chodesh? It's all about loy plug. The time doesn't apply. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to be here b'chol. So what does Chazal tell you? Before you leave, when you're still be'etzim living there, you're still there, be'emes. So do a bedika. So you have the ta'ilas first of all, the loy plug. You have the ta'ilas that you're still dar there right now. And you also have a tell us that reminds you to do a bittul on the chametz in that house. And that's the halacha. When you leave Rosh Chodesh, you're supposed to do, whenever you do a bedika on that house, you're supposed to do a bittul on the chametz in that house as well. Even though all your other chametz you're still eating, kulei, but you make a bittul and a beer on that house. So once I left that house, if I leave the house for the whole Pesach, what's my yachas to the chametz left over there? It's mustama also mufker memela. Chametz she'eni yadu we're talking about. So I'm not going to be there till after Pesach. So all the crumbs mustama it's hefker, even though it's his house. It's hard to say it's memela hefker. But B'chi HaGavna, it's a chiddush to me to think that you should l'chatchila send someone to a place where you already left. I think Chazal are saying, Yoytze B'shara, that is your ikar zman chiyuv. And ad kedei kach, you could make a shliach. That's before in the Mishnah Berurah. That's before in the Magen Avram. Because Magen Avram, the beginning of Taf Lam Vav says, let's say I was Yoytze B'shara, and I forgot. I didn't do it. So the Magen Avram says, maybe you have to go back or make a shliach. So you see the Magen Avram says, yeah, if you forgot, so then go back or send the shliach. That's only if you forgot. You're supposed to do it yourself before you go. Presumably to remind you about the bittul. Presumably because then you still have the chayvus you're living there. But not l'chatchila to leave it out of bittul and bedika and to send someone on Aridah when no one's in the house. Ad kedei kach, the Beis Meir holds b'chi HaGavna. The Biur Halacha, the beginning of Taf Lamed Vav brings this halacha, and he says the Beis Meir. Look up the Beis Meir. He says for Davar Pasha. He says in this case, if you would leave on Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of Taf Lamed Vav, Biur Halacha brings it. If you would leave on Rosh Chodesh, al das to whatever to send the shliach, it's not the Beis Meir, you're pater. Once you leave, you don't have to do anything. You're supposed to do a bedika before you leave. Let's say you didn't. So the Magen Avram says, oh, maybe you have to go back. Beis Meir says, just forget about it, just do bittul. What do you mean? The whole lechatchilu dika oifen is to leave and then send the shliach on Arlar Basar. So it's klar mitoch divrei HaPoskim.
Why is it b'di'evet? From the Mishnah Berurah, doesn't sound like it's b'di'evet.
To what? Send the shliach?
Yeah, the first Mishnah Berurah there.
In Taf Lamed Vav, he says, if you forgot.
No, he's quoting the Magen Avram.
Magen Avram says, if you didn't, you were an avarian. So now what? So the Beis Meir says, b'di'evet, fine, just leave it. Magen Avram says, Sifkat and Gimel Taf Lamed Vav.
Yeah, but there's another one, Sifkat and Gedalit. Doesn't sound like it's good, yeah, but I don't know. The way the Mishnah Berurah is saying,
Which? Here he says if you forgot, you got to go back.
look at in the first Mishnah Berurah.
First Mishnah Berurah.
He talks about it. He says, why do you
No,
have
no,
to
this is
do
talking about people who live there.
and then you have.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. So that's my point.
That's-
If you leave people living in the house, why would you do bedika on Rosh Chodesh? Don't do bedika. They're here. Or larbasser.
Oh,
That's because they're living there. Mashiach, if the house is empty and there's no diurin to think that I should leave. So the whole question is if you do that, you might b'diavad just be finished, done. It's finished. Don't do anything. We paskin, you should send the sheikh. You could send the sheikh. The is and it's muvan. Because this is your chiyuv, since you're the dar right now, we want to remind you to do a bittul right now, so do the bedika bittul right now. B'diavad this question. Now, that's why I think that Shuvah Sheva Levi is tamed. But in this case, I think it's takum makom to say you should send the sheikh, not do it yourself. When you're leaving Rosh Chodesh, but you're not the case of the Gemara. There's another family coming in Yudalad Baboker in the morning. So the Chayvas Bedika on this house is not Tamaloi Plug. It's a Seicher Master Chiyuv. This house needs a Bedika, Manish. Bekol Tokvoi. There's a family that's going to be here that have all the chashashas of Shema Yaver, Shema Yavel La'achloi, maybe they're going to find Chametz and not burn it. So here it's just a question of the tirda, like Rashi says, her masker, who has the chiyuv? So I have the chiyuv, I'm the masker. So this is a funny case. I'm a masker who's a yotze l'shara. So I think you could do a bedika for yotze l'shara. That's your, that's the ikar din. But I'm just saying the dagesh that we're saying, that when you leave your house in Gansin, it's l'chayr klar from the place that l'chatchila you should do it yourself before you leave. Here could be you're talking that it's shiny. Because here the Maisa, your chiyuv as a masker is to provide a bedika for the soicher. What's the matara of this? The matara when you leave your house in Gansin, that's a bedika for yourself. Just like plug, whatever, to remind you about bittul. What's the matara of this guy, of a masker soicher? It's your chiyuv, it's the tir. What do you mean? Chazal, masker soicher.
Why is your chiyuv for him? It's your chiyuv.
Of course it's your chiyuv for him. Let's think about it. What is this bedika for? Tell me. It's for him. What do you mean? It's for this house.
The Gemara says Chametzi Day.
He's coming in later.
It's svara to say that he's chayim for some reason.
No. That's a svara. That's why we're matriachim to take care of the problem, to do it. But I'm just asking the Tay Ellis. I'm making a much more simple point. You're just saying something more complex. Simply speaking, who's going to be neneh from this bedika? Who's it for? I'm saying be'ikr, it's for the people who are going to be there on Pesach. Meaning it's kaviyachol, you're a shliach of them.
No, you have a chiyuv also.
Again, you do have a chiyuv, and that's why it's your tirch l'maisa. They both have a chiyuv. It's mashma.
So who's going to be then? You. You're not going to be over by month.
So imishum your chiyuv, I would say lechatchila should do it the night you leave. But since l'maisa mitzitcha, your chiyuv is just your chiyuv, it's just a loy plug. But l'maisa you're doing a bedika on a house that there's going to be yidden moving in on Yudal Baboker. So what I'm saying is it's also a Torah shlichus for them. So then I could hear that mitzidam there should be a bedika.
But that Torah shlichus doesn't have to be b'leili that loy plug. It doesn't chal on them in order for them to benefit.
It doesn't have to be.
Theirs.
It doesn't have to be. But if you,
It's your Bereshut.
all I'm saying is like this:
not.
mitzidam. Seicher master is this house needs a bedika. Who has to take care of it? But the etzem mahus of the bedika that is needed is a bedika for them. So mitzidam avadol l'chatchil is already done.
Is it
That's
depending on
only
the
if we're
parish and
nebing on the
the
fact that
Well,
it's
it depends what the parish is. If the parish is, then whoever has to do a bittul has to do a bedika as a low plug. So it's just the same thing as
No, I'm assuming like the Magen Avram, everyone has to do a bittul. Everyone has to do a bittul. Magen Avram is Mishra Nachbar, everyone does a bittul. I'm just
it's not
saying
chiyuv.
that
It's not chiyuv. No, I'm not.
mitzad Mesiris Maftechos,
That you might not
mitzad
do.
Bailos, so hitrichu
It's the
oisich.
mitzvah.
They were matriach me. So the chiyuv falls on my head, but every master is like it's not a master who's didn't give the maftechas till an hour after shkia. He forgot, he didn't give them the maftechas. So who's that bedika for? So we're matriachim to do the bedika, but the bedika is obviously for the tzaychim. That's for the tzaychim coming in. I mean, why is bedika necessary? Bedika, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This bedika is not a loy plug bedika. It's not a loy plug. Fakir, it's a new song. It's not dafab. It's dafdal. What?
It's like any other time that
saying
you thought it
this
starts and no one did.
Chazal see this house has to be bodak like every basis row.
Nothing.
There's a regular Yiddish mishpach is going to be in this house and needs a regular chiyuv like everyone else. Now, whose headache is
You
it?
don't have to go back.
Yeah, you could do it before. You're yet to be sure. I'm not
So
that you
on the
can't do it
low
before you leave. But I'm assuming you could do it before you leave.
Yeah.
Because the point is here, I'm b'shlichusam. Chazal just said, take care of their problem. What's Seicher Masker? Kitrichu, Dr. Rashi. Very nice, you're masker, you're leaving. You got to take care of their problem.
There's a svara why we're not to him or him. There's a svara to mechayiv him. There's a svara to mechayiv him.
Now,
because
because even shechal sha'achas ulepaka, because beknisas yudalit it was birshusi.
So the chiv was already calling me. The kunas chachamim are doing b'dik on early yudalit was calling me already.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So when I'm
That's
leaving,
not only because of the seicher. That's just like any other person who's leaving the hotel on Leil Yudalit. He has a
that's
chiv
not only
chachamim
now
now.
in Seicher, but it's certainly also because of the Seicher. I'm just saying this is not a loy plug b'dika. So the oifen is not a loy plug b'dika.
That's what
I
the
can hear
shayla-
lechatchila, you should provide them the lechatchila. Now, you could do the b'dika before you leave, but b'chiyai gavna, what I'm saying is, in a regular case, a person leaves, usually they sell the house. But if you don't sell the house, you should certainly do b'dika before you leave and not make a shliach for a week later. It's garbage. The evidence according to base Mary, you're not wasting your time. You're not wasting your time. You're not mechuyev to. Ashenkin over here, I'm just saying, by the Seicher master relationship is a question of who Chazal matriach. They're matriach you to do their bedika. It's baker their bedika because it's their house for Pesach. They're the ones who have the problem. You also have your eigen chiv. But since the mice of the chiv that you're accomplishing is to make a bias body for the people nichnas beyond yidal and kol Pesach, they would chayyur be lachatchila make a shliach to do our boss.
They're not too studying in the Gemara. The Gemara says this is come today. That would
What's the
that would
answer to that question? What's the achra?
What? I'm saying there's two ways to learn the Gemara. Is it that the two studies still alive? Except